approaching Ram Setu.
Satya sir, a warm welcome to you on Filme Shilmy and congratulations on Ram Setu.
Thank you so much, Anush. Thank you.
It's been a great 2022 for you. I mean, from playing a villain in Godfather to now playing a godlike role in Ram Setu, what responsibility did you feel when playing a character like AP?
Yeah. Thank you. So right from the beginning, when I signed this contract, signed this project, Ram Setu, Abhishek has been telling me that I'm up for something. I mean, to be honest, eh, when he narrated the script the first time, I was kind of I was in the air. I mean, you cannot audition and you cannot end up getting these kind of roles. These roles have to find you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it happened the other way. So and when he told me for the first time that I'm playing AP, the first thing that I tried, I mean, first thing that I thought was, and of course I implemented while shooting as well. I I was, I became a saint for 30, 35 days. I didn't eat any non-vegetarian. I was very strict. I was getting up early and making sure that I'm chanting some, slokas to make sure I'm in the character. Because end of the day, I know what the character is. So I wanted to make sure, even outside, while I'm not shooting for the film, I thought I should be really, really, godlike to live up to the character.
Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that aspect actually, because the Ram Setu Bridge has always been a subject of discussion. But what influence has Ramayana had on your life when it comes to principles and our culture as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Ramayana definitely has a very profound impact on almost every Indian. I mean, the way we look at it as a literature right from the beginning, that the way we've been taught Ramayana. I mean, especially I think a man, Lord Ram is actually a reflection of how a man should be with his family, with his brother. He should be a good brother, good husband, good king, good friend, everything. I think it's more of how it's a lifestyle. Ramayana is more like a lifestyle, to be honest. As in, Lord Rama tries to tell that this is how an ideal human has to be in order to, attain something in life. And
Hmm.
I think it's a way of life. Ramayana is more like a way of life, and it definitely, knowingly or unknowingly, we'll have those. We try to follow those principles now and then in the life. I mean, that's how it is. It's been injected. It's been there with us, and we follow them diligently. And yeah, that's how it is. Ramayana has been a profound. It has a profound impact on life.
Right. I think it's heartening that this year we've had so many fantasy films which address Hindu history. Before Ram Setu, of course, we had Kartikeya 2, and then we also had Brahmastra as well. So, how important is it for our culture and roots to be included in cinema and perhaps ensure that it's presented in a very respectful manner and a sensitive manner also?
Right. I think great that Kartikeya 2 did really well, across India, and definitely Brahmastra. Um, I don't think this Ram Setu was made, keeping that we have a series of films which is reflecting the culture. But I think the idea has been way before. I mean, it's not that we have to do a film which, because we have a series of films which are coming in the same way, but rather I would say Abhishek, when he first told me that he has done a thorough research on this film. He has done, he's been to the places. He's been narrating while he was narrating. Uh, it was a great. I mean, I could see the passion that Abhishek wants to, why he wants to narrate this film. Be it culturally, be it, be it, it's. I think more than comparing with other films, I would say films like Ram Setu are needed because it's more about talking about our culture,
Yeah.
more about talking about our roots. So films like these are definitely not something that we have to do it intentionally, but I think It's more of talking about the roots and the culture, which is much more important. And glad that all the three films came at the right time.
Right.
Kartikeya 2 and Brahmastra and Ram Setu. Glad that they're all happening at the same time. It's just a
Yeah.
coincidence. Maybe everyone, it's a coincidence.
Yeah, and I think it's quite special as well because Ram Setu obviously marks your Hindi film debut as well. And as you know, South India has really emerged as the new mainstream now, and we're seeing this paradigm shift where Indian cinema is one. And I think it's so great that we're seeing that. What do you think has kind of contributed towards this sudden awakening to South Indian content as well, in particular?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the key reasons, one of the key aspects to this, I would definitely give the credit to Rajmouli sir, because uh, he erased the boundaries of a North film, a Bollywood film, or the top or Telugu film industry film. I mean, he kind of took it to a pan India level where everyone started accepting. And once Bahubali was accepted at that level, uh, KGF came and it became a pan India film. Everyone started loving it. I think it's good that the boundaries are getting erased because as India on a whole, now we have a larger audience for our films. So definitely, like how the Hollywood films, they have a larger audience across the world.
Mm.
I think India as a country, we are the second most populous country in the world. And if a film is made at an Indian level, and I think we can any day beat the Hollywood films as well. I mean, in terms of the money it can collect and the amount of exposure the film can get, it's much more bigger than. So great that the boundaries are getting erased at this point in time, where every filmmaker, every filmmaker while they're writing it, they're making sure let's scatter. I mean, not that they willingly or forcefully writing something to cater to the entire India. Rather, the content is being accepted. So it's a great sign. And
Mhm.
I personally feel, a day will come where entire actors from all industry they can unite and do a film, which can which can be in terms of the money it can collect or the impact it can create, would be much bigger than the Hollywood
Yeah.
films.
And I think it's also very, very a testament as well, because we were talking about again why about a lot of the cultures and the Hindu culture has been presented as well through cinema. And it's interesting, we had a film like Kantara, which really did well recently in Kannada. And
Right.
again, that really does embrace the roots and culture. So do you think this is also perhaps, and again, I guess the same can be said for Ram Setu as well. Do you think this is the step forward now, perhaps in through Indian cinema, is perhaps encouraging, us to go back to our roots and embrace our culture, embrace our roots, and present stories which are within the fabrics of our history and our society as well. Is that what do you think that is as well?
Absolutely. I totally agree because we have a saying called local is international. You know,
Nice.
yeah. So the local is definitely international. When you stick to the roots, when you're trying to tell a story from your culture, from the roots, it will be accepted internationally or across the globe. That's exactly if we go back to the films that really work, uh, across the globe. If you
Mhm.
actually look at them, they'll be talking about their culture, like the Iranian films or the Korean films. We all it's all in their culture, but still we watch them here, and we root for them, irrespective of the culture, because the emotion that they create out of the story is much more important, and that's exactly what's happening now. Kantara, for that example that you mentioned, Kantara as well, it's doing really well, and if you actually see, it's rooted in Mangalore. It's a Mangalorean culture,
Mm.
north of Karnataka. It's not
Tululadu,
even
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think the makers were successful in creating something which can cater, and it's a testimony of what we are talking. Local is international. Great that we are getting back to the roots and making sure we're creating stories out of our own culture. And when they're getting accepted globally, or when they're getting accepted India level, it's really a great sign of it's a great sign for all the makers, so that we can create something like what we have done with Ram Setu as well, so that it can cater to all the audience.
Right. I think it's also quite momentous for you that you're making your Hindi debut with Ram Setu at a time when I think next year, I believe, you'll probably be what, a decade or so, I think, since you sort of entered as an actor, in full-length roles as an actor in this industry. So how would you describe the growth you've had from then till now? Because obviously this year alone, you've played a ghastly character in Godfather. I absolutely despise the role that you played there. But in Ram Setu, it's a complete polar opposite role. So how would you describe that growth you've had so far?
Yeah, Anuj. So I started off, like you said, it's been a decade. I started off in 2012. 2012. I started off as a very small character. I played in Prabhas film.
Yes.
It was Mr. Perfect. I played a friend of Prabhas Anna, and since then it's been like every film. I made sure I was doing something different. Or in the beginning it was all small roles I was doing so that I can get the exposure. Then I've done character roles, I've done villain antagonist roles, I've done protagonist roles, and I've done everything under the sun to make sure the world watches me. And today, like you said, Godfather, which released on October 5th, it's a super duper hit here, and the role that I played is completely polar opposite to the it's a polar opposite to what I've done in Ram Setu. Completely different. It's a great feeling, to be honest. Sometimes, this is how I wanted to. I always wished that people should come to the theater to watch Satyadev, and they shouldn't be disappointed that I've done something which is regular. I should do something different for them to accept me, and they should come to the theater thinking that, hey, this guy's going to do something different. Let's go and watch it. That's exactly how I planned. So if you look at my filmography, I made sure I was doing all different films, different roles. I've been trying with my look. Uma Maheshwara Guru Rupasya is one film that I've done. It's completely a different film. Kimarasu, and then Godfather, God Say. All the films I've been trying to be different. I'm trying to do intentionally a different character so that it can cater to more audience. And today I'm at a position. I'm really great. I feel really, really great, and lots of gratitude to all my makers as well. They've given me a chance to give me the canvas to paint something different than the routine.
Okay, wonderful. Well, look, Satya, it was such a pleasure. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but it was such a pleasure to chat with you and sort of get to know your insights about Ram Setu and, of course, the film industry as a whole. And I think I'm really proud at seeing this pan-India appeal that Indian cinema is having now. And I think it's great, and we're definitely here to conquer in the long term. So thank you so much for joining me on Filme Shilmy, and wishing you all the very best.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's great talking with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.